Excel Tutorial 6, pages 330 through 336, Grouping Worksheets. To open and review the Better World Recycling Workbook, open the Kansas Workbook and then do a File Save As and name it Columbia. Alright, in the documentation worksheet, enter your name, right there where it says author, and then the date. Got it? Okay. Go to the Q1 worksheet. View the recycling data for the first quarter of the year. So basically just read it so you know what you're working with. Now review the quarters 2, 3, and 4 worksheets. The main thing you need to notice is that the formatting is exactly the same. Nothing is even one row off, and there's a very specific reason for this. Okay, so you have to learn this now, that when we're going to do what we're about to do with grouping, and we're going to have information that we enter on one sheet that goes into all 4, the formatting has to be exactly the same. So paper is in A6 on quarter 1. Go to quarter 2. It's in A6, quarter 3. Do you see the pattern where it has to be, everything has to be exactly formatted the same? All right, go ahead and read about grouping worksheets at the top of page 330 and on 331, and pay particular attention to grouping and ungrouping, which is about in the middle of 331. And when you have all of that read, we're going to go down to the bottom of 331 to group the quarterly worksheets. Okay, click on the quarter 1 tab if you're not already there, and make that worksheet active. This is the first worksheet you want to include in the group. Press and hold the Shift key and then click quarter 4. So Shift, quarter 4, and now all of these are selected. Okay, remember Shift is an adjacent selection. If we had wanted to select non-adjacent, like maybe just 1 and 3, we'd use the Control key. When you use Shift, you click on the first one, you shift and click on the last one, and it selects everything in between as well as the last one. All right, read step number 3 at the bottom of page 331, which will explain to you exactly what we just did, and then flip over to page 332. To change the active sheet in the grouped quarterly worksheets, click the quarter 2 worksheet tab. The quarter 2 worksheet is now the active worksheet in the group. Click quarter 4. The quarter 4 worksheet is now the active worksheet in the group. So they stay grouped, but we can move amongst the sheets, okay? All right, read about entering headings and formulas in a worksheet group. And when you're finished with that, move to the top of page 333 to enter formulas to calculate the collection totals in the worksheet group. Step number 1. All right, we are in quarter 4. And it says select cell B11. So quarter 4, B11. You want to enter the formula in cell B11 in each of the 4 worksheets in the group. On the Home tab in the Editing group, click the AutoSum button. Okay, Home tab, Editing group. This should be very familiar to you by now. AutoSum. The formula equals sum B6 to B10 is entered in cell B11 in each worksheet, adding the total tons of recyclable items collected at the Columbia site for the first month of the quarter. For quarter 4, the October total collected items shown in B11 is 1,194. So press your Enter key, and there it is, 1,194. Copy the formula in cell B11 to the range C11 to D11. All right, so copy the formula. Again, you should absolutely know what to do by now. Fill handle right across. Okay, so we should have 1,209 and 1,413. All right, in cell E6, so we're going to go to E, and we're going to go to 6. Enter a formula with the sum function to add the total tons of paper collected for each quarter at the Columbia site. Okay, so they're going to stop telling you how to do it, but you know, right? You just reach up and pop that AutoSum. Make sure that it's selected the right range, and it did, and press your Enter key. Click back on it, and let's make sure we got the right formula, equals the sum of B6 through D6. Yep, right there. And the value that's represented to you is 1,126. Copy the formula in cell E6 to the range E7 through E11. Okay? So let's compare real quickly to figure 6-3 and make sure our numbers are correct. 770, 1179, 287, 454, and 3,816. Okay, make sure they're right. If they aren't, please correct your formula now before we go on any further. All right, in cell A11 and in cell E5, enter the label totals. Okay, got both of those in. All right, select cell B11. The formula equals the sum of B6 through B10 appears in the formula bar, and the formula results 1194. Okay, flip over to page 334. The formula and labels you entered in the quarter 4 worksheet were entered in quarters 1, 2, and 3 as well. Click the quarter 3 sheet tab and take a look. We've got totals, we've got our sums all the way, right? Click quarter 2. Same thing, totals, summed all the way. And then go on to quarter 1. And you can see we've got the same thing there. It's all done correctly. So you typed it in one time because they're grouped. It went into every single worksheet. And I'm sure you can see how much time that will save you. The whole trick is they're all formatted exactly the same. And this would be a great time for you to reach up and hit your save icon. All right, read real quickly about editing grouped worksheets and formatting a worksheet group. At the bottom of page 334, to apply formatting to the worksheet group, select cell A1. Then format that cell with the Lucida Console font, bold, and the olive green accent 3, darker 25% font color. Okay, so the first thing we need is to do our font, right? Which was what they say, Lucida. And they didn't want bright, they wanted Lucida Console. There it is, Lucida Console. Bold. And now the tricky part to find the color they want. Okay, so we want a green. And it is, all right, we found our green accent 3. Let's find darker 25%. There it is right there. The company name is formatted to match the company name in the documentation worksheet. Increase the indent of cell A11 by 1. All right, so we want cell A11, and we want to indent that. Do you remember how to do that? We haven't done this in a while. On your home tab in the alignment group, right here, do you see these buttons? This one says increase indent. Click it one time. Okay. Step number 3, in the non-adjacent range, A2 to A3, so I want A2 to A3, and then A6 to A11, all right, A6 to A11, and then B5 to E5, B5 to E5, okay, got all that selected. Click your bold icon. Okay, deselect. Merge and center the range A1 to E1. Okay, A1 to E1. Do you remember what merge and center is? Home tab, alignment group, merge and center. In the range B5 to E5, 5 to E5, we're going to center. Home tab, alignment group, center. Step number 6, in the range B6 to E11, all right, B6 to E11, 11, just all of our numbers. Apply the comma style number format with no decimal places. All right, the comma style number format, again, you should be very familiar with this. Home tab, number group, comma style, decrease your decimals until there aren't any. Now, remember, if it's under 1,000, there's no comma, right? Okay, top of page 335. In the range B5 to E5, all right, B5 to E5, and the range B10 to E10. Add a bottom border. Okay, home tab, font group, borders button, bottom border. Select cell A1. Now, all the worksheets in the group are formatted, so go to each worksheet and take a look, and when you get finished, go back to the quarter 1 worksheet, okay? So all we're going to do is we're going to go through and go, look, all that work you just did, you do not have to go and do it on the other worksheets because it was done because they were all grouped, which is very cool. All right, at the bottom of page 335, please read about ungrouping worksheets. After you've read that, move up to the top of page 336 to ungroup the quarterly worksheets. Click the Documentation Sheet tab. The worksheets are now ungrouped because the documentation worksheet was not part of the worksheet group. The text group no longer appears in the Excel title bar. Verify that the worksheets are ungrouped and the word group no longer appears in the title bar. Okay, we're just going to click on one of the worksheets and you can see that we're ungrouped. You can also tell by the colors and how they're no longer grouped together. All right, go ahead and save that and you're ready to move on to the next video.